Hi, everybody. So we've talked about axonometric and isometric drawings kind of in theory, right? But now I want to give you a demonstration of how to draw them. So we're going to start with a freehand demonstration and then move into a drafted or constructed drawing. What I've got on my drawing board here is called an isometric dot grid. Or you could also use isometric graph paper, right? But I prefer the dot grid. And I'm just going to tape that down so it doesn't slide. And then draw over it using tracing paper. Now, we haven't used tracing paper before in these demonstrations, I think. So let me give you just a couple of hints. First of all, another name for this tool is paper cutter. Hold it tight against the roll, and you can make an easy and straight tear. Second, always flip your tracing paper over so that it curls against the board. It's just easier to work with. And then I'm going to tape that down. Now I'm using a pen because I noticed earlier it was easier for you to see in the video. Of course, you can use pencil for this exercise. So the first thing I want to do is draw a cube. So I will establish my principal axes. I'm going to start right here in the middle of my page. Here's my origin point. All right. I want a vertical axis. See how I'm using the dots to help me out here. I'd like a 30 degrees up from the horizontal axis, and that's going to be this dot right here, this line of dots. And 30 degrees from the horizontal on the other side, which will be this line of dots. All right, so those are my principal axes, all right, and let's try drawing a cube. So the thing to know is that you measure along these three axes in the same scale. So if I decide that I want to have a 3-inch cube, I'm going to measure 3 inches, 3 inches, and 3 inches. Okay. And then from this measurement, I will follow the same 30-degree line. See how my dot grid makes that easy. I'm going to go vertical from this one, vertical from this one, 30 degrees from this one. All right, so we've got the two front sides of our box. Looks like I made a mistake and ran off the top of my page here, but anyway. So for the top of the box, we're going to follow 30 degrees in this direction and 30 degrees in that direction. Pardon me. And they're going to meet, by the way, at the extension of that vertical line. All right, so we've drawn our cube in 3 dimensions in isometric projection. So let's do another illustration, something just very slightly harder, and draw a something that's a box and not a cube. Try again. All right, and first thing we're going to do is measure the box. I did it off screen here, and it is 4 inches by 3 inches by 1 1/4 inches. All right, so here's my box. And remember, we're going to see it kind of at this angle to our picture plane. All right. So first establish your axes. Pick an origin point. Draw a vertical axis, 30 degree, and another 30 degree. Okay. Then you can literally measure along those axes. You can do it at full scale, or you can do it at any architectural scale. I'm going to draw full scale because this is a very tiny box. Right? So we've got 4 inches in this direction. Okay, here's 4 inches. We've got 3 inches in this direction, 3 inches, and we've got 1 1/4 inches in this direction. Okay, very easy. I'm going to draw vertical from my side points here. Go 30 degrees in that direction, 30 degrees in that direction. Okay, do the 30. And we have our beautiful box in isometric projection. Here it is. Let's go slightly harder. All right. And I have something that is kind of a house shape. It's like your typical Snoopy doghouse gable shape. All right. It comes apart in pieces because I use it for another class for demonstrating how to cut a section through a roof. All right. So we're going to draw this thing in this direction right here. All right. So it's going to be isometric this way. So with this example, we're going to demonstrate the additive and subtractive construction methods. All right. So first, let's establish our axes. I'm going to kind of use down at the bottom of the page here. Okay. Then I'm going to draw a box that will hold, basically, our base of our item. Okay. And that was, oh, I've forgotten already, 2 3/4 by 2 1/2. All right. So 2 3/4 inch by 2 1/2 inches. Okay. And I'm measuring to the bottom of this roof piece, 2 1/4 inch, right here. Okay, so we have a box shape. That describes this base of our Snoopy doghouse. All right, and but that's not exactly what this shape is. It's got this gable peak to it. So let's find the center point right here. And then you can literally measure the edges. They are 1 1/2 inches, 1 1/2 inches, 1 1/2 inches. Okay. And you can find that gable shape. And you could either measure that 1 1/2 inches again and connect these dots right here, or you can simply draw your 30-degree line. Okay. And this way we're using the subtractive method. So basically you're cutting out all of this part of the cube that isn't in our shape. All right, and so this would go this way, and we would describe this shape in this way. All right, you would have a connection right there. Okay, so now you've described kind of the base piece of this tiny little gable house. All right, but there's the roof piece on it. Okay, and that's where we want to use the additive method. Okay, so you're just going to add on to our basic shape. And so this roof is a 1/4 inch in this depth, and it sticks out from the building 1/2 inch in uh, these dimensions, and then a 1/4 inch in those dimensions. So we could, um, let's see, we could describe this with a box if we wanted to, but basically I'm just going to add a piece right here. It goes out this way too. Okay. It goes in 3 dimensions. Oops, I'm wrong, goes the other way. To our basic shape. Right. Well, okay, I've got the outlines, but that doesn't look 3-dimensional yet. Well, this is where your shading, your cross-hatching, and your line weights are going to come into play. So, for example, this piece back here might have a strong cross-hatch pattern. Okay, whereas this one might be a little bit lighter because it's towards the light. Okay, and we would see some vertical pieces on here. Okay, we might get a little bit of a cast shadow under this piece. Using a scribble method. And let's use a vertical hatching for these pieces. Okay, suddenly with some very simple tone techniques, we end up with a 3-dimensional drawing.